Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will be talking about the part 2 of our chat application, in which we will be developing the channels plus the chat screens where the user will be able to communicate. So without wasting any time, let's just get back to the code and start it from where we left in the previous video. So if you remember, in last video what we did is that we created the sign in and sign up flows, and in this video what we'll be doing is that we'll start working on creating the home screens, right? So let's just get back to the section where we were, and over here you will see that we have already a home screen, but it's like it doesn't have anything. Okay, so one thing that I would like to do over here is that create a Kotlin class, and let's just create a class with the name home view model. Okay, so basically what we want to do here, if I explain a little bit, is that we would like to create a section where we'll have some channels. The channels will be helping us communicating with our with our users. So like we can maybe create some category based channels, and then from there user can communicate. Okay, so I'll just create a dummy hill over here, and over here you can see that I have this nav controller that is basically being sent from there, and then this red background that I don't need anymore. So I guess that's pretty much what we need. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is that I'll use a box over here, because what I'll be doing is that I'll create a list of channels, plus I need a buttons in the screen. So I'll just create a box over here, and inside the box what else we want to do here is that let's just create a lazy column, right? And that lazy column is basically it will help us create the channels, or sorry, so basically the lazy column will help us draw the items that comes from the backend, and right now we don't have any backend over here. So what I'm gonna do is that first thing first, let's just go to home view model and link our models from the backend to this view model, so that we can access the channels from the Firebase. Okay, so what we need to do is that first thing, I want to come over here to Firebase, and from this section, last time if you remember, we create the authentication where we had these users, and now in the real-time database what we want to do is that we want to create a database. Okay, and over here what I would do is that I'll create two different sections, just some basic this will basically there are some basic configuration that you need to do before you it start working. So I have created my basic database with some like empty values, and what I would like to do over here is that I'll create a link using channel. Okay, and inside this what we will do is that we'll create another plus object, and let's say just use a value with name as test. Okay, so no value, let's just add it this way. Okay, now you can see that there is a test channel, and inside that channel you see a test key. Okay, same goes for another section that I would like over here, and that is the messages. Okay, for now, so we will definitely update it, but for now let's just keep it this way. Okay, so now what I have is that I have a channel section where basically all the channels will go, and then I have a messages section where basically we will be creating the messages. Okay, and inside the channel we'll have like two different sections. One will be the channel ID, and the second one would be the channel name. So like you can call it test. Okay, so once you do that, the second thing that I would like to do here is that create a model section, and that model section is basically will help me create the channel class. So let's just go here and create a Kotlin class named channel, right? And let's just make it a data class. Okay, and the data class, what it requires is that it will have an ID, and I guess that's pretty much what we need over here. So these are the three things that it will require. One would be the ID, the second would be the name, and the third one would be the created at. And if there is no created at, it will assign current time in millis. Okay, and now let's just get over here. So what we need to do over here is that create an init function, and let's just say get channels. This will be my function that I'll create, a private function get channels. Okay, and now this will fetch the data from server. Okay, before that I want to initialize some other stuff as well, like wall Firebase database equals to Firebase, right? Firebase dot database. This is basically what helps me fetch it. Second thing would be over here is that, or maybe I can make it a private as well so that it's not accessible from outside, and then I'll say Firebase database. Okay, now I'll say Firebase database dot get reference, and then inside that reference I'll have channel dot get. Okay, and then add a success listener. So what I did is that I added a basically I added success listener, and inside that what I did is just I mapped it into the channel class that I created. So that's one thing, right? The second thing is that important for us is that we need to create some state flows for this, and those state flows will basically help us communicate the data with it. So what I'm going to do is that I'll create a channels equals to mutable state flow of list of channels, and I'll create an empty list out of it. Okay, and then I'll create channels dot as state flow so that it's like not editable. And over here what we'll do is that as soon as we get this, the channels will update the value and equals to, keep it this way, right? Now this section is done, and let's just make it private as well so that it's not accessible from outside. Now what we need to do is that we need to get back to our home section over here, and in the home screen the first thing that we want to do is that we want to create a view model. Okay, and this view model is going to be a hilt view model like this. Okay, once that is done, now what we need to do is that we need to create wall channels is equals to view model dot channels dot collect as state. Okay, this means that this is basically going to be like fetching the channels for us, and then inside this channel what we will be doing is that sorry, not like this. What we need to do is that we need to set something like this. So this, okay, now I have this thing. I'll just add the text over here for now to see if I can see the channel name, and then definitely I'll add some sort of other stuff to it as well, but for now I guess let's just do it this way. And now I'll just run an emulator to test if this current implementation that I have added is actually working. Okay, there is some issue with our view model. What does it say? Okay, yeah, and then as usual I forget this one, so just make sure that you don't forget. You need to add an inject constructor to it if you want to create a hilt view model with annotation. So okay, so it's just running, and you see this is a test channel. Okay, so let's see if I add another channel to it, will it show? Right, so I'll just go back and then I'll open this, and you can see now we have two channels. So from where I'm adding and why I'm adding, I'll just show you. We'll basically implement a whole flow where basically we will be adding the channel to this section, but for now let's just see that we have this section. Okay, now let's just get to the home screen and then let's just polish the this section that we have, and for that, what we need to do is that first of all we need some padding, and then definitely we'll add this, but this should not be 16 but 15. Okay, before that, one more thing that I want here is that we want to fill max width as well, and then we will add this padding. Okay, so now padding is done. Now we'll click round corner shape, and then I'll add 16.dp to it, and then we'll add some background. We'll add background, and for background what I'm going to do is that I guess that's pretty much what we should be using. It's like reddish but with a very, so like it will be a pinkish color for now. And the next thing would be to add some internal padding to it, and that would be 16 dp, right? And last but not least is that we will be making it clickable, so that if we want to navigate somewhere, we'll navigate. For now we don't have any navigation section like this, but let's just test if the UI implementation that we did actually makes any difference, like it separate out some stuff from it. Now you can see that we have this channel, and when I click on it, it looks bad which should not be like this. So maybe what we can do is that maybe we can make it like this. We can add the padding later on after the clickable section, so that when I click on it, it's like full one. Okay, now it looks good. So the first thing is done, the first step is done. Now what we need to do is that we need to have a place or have some sort of implementation where we can add channel to this list as well, so that it's easier for us to add stuff to this specific application. Okay, so what we need to do is, let's just get over here, and inside this what we need to do is that we can add a floating action button. Okay, and something like this. I guess that's pretty much what it does, and what we want to do over here is that we need to create an add channel, but this add channel would not be like this. For this, what we'll be doing is that we'll create a dialog, for some sort of a bottom sheet dialog, and that bottom sheet dialog will ask us for the name of the channel, and then as soon as we click on that, it will just create a channel and then add it. Okay, so let's just start working on creating a channel dialog. So I'll create a composable, let's just name it add channel bottom or add channel dialog. Okay, so definitely need some sort of on callback, like the callback from us. So on add channel, and this is going to be something like this, because as soon as this on add channel will return a string function. So now inside this what we need to do is that we will create a channel name which is going to be remember, and over here we'll see mutable state of an empty string. So like initially the channel name will be empty, and then we'll create a column. It's just pretty simple stuff that we need. So add channel, then we'll have a spacer, right, and then the next thing should be a text field, and this text field will have channel name dot value, and then inside this it will have something like this, right? That's what we want. One thing is that single line should be true for this as well, so that we don't have multiple lines that breaks the design of the UI. And then again we'll have a spacer and then a button that will basically do the job on add channel, and then odd channel would be it should be channel name dot value. Okay, and inside this it should add a text and say add. One more thing I would like over here for this button should be so that modifier fill max. Okay, and why I want this is because I want everything to be aligned, and then some padding to this as well. Vertical arrangement, center, horizontal alignment should also be center horizontally, right? So okay, so I guess that's the dialog that I want. So one more thing that I want is basically I want to use it as a bottom sheet, so not like a normal dialog. So what we need to do is that for that we'll create a state, and that would be add channel is equals to, and it will be like this. And then inside this section what we'll be do is that add channel dot value, or if not like that, it should be if add channel dot value is true, we'll see modal bottom sheet. We need to create a sheet state. Remember model something like this, but I'll create this on top. But the important thing is like the stuff that I want to do is that I'll create an add channel dialog over here, right? And then what we will do is that we'll call the ViewModel add channel class function that we'll have, and add channel will again become false because it will do its job, right? And as soon as it like update the channel, we'll update the database as well. And on dismiss, we'll just dismiss it. Now we need to create a sheet state. So basically for sheet state, what we will be doing is that wall sheet state. I guess that should work. Why it's not working? Okay, so yeah, it's an experimental one, so you need to be adding that as well, right? And then sheet state dot okay. Now we have this function not available in our view model. As you know that we have this section is not available, so let's just create a function, call it add channel, and then this. So what over here what happens again, it's basically just again use the same pushes the key, and then once it gets a key from it using that key it basically set the value for that. So what we want, and then once that is done we again fetch the channels. So these channels gets updated whenever we add something to it, right? And I guess that's pretty much what we want, if I'm not wrong. So let's just run this code and see if this section is working as expected. Now you see we have this section, we have these two sections. When I click on it, oh yeah, okay. So there's just one more thing that we wanted to add, is that on this what we will be doing is that add channel dot value should become true as well, because if you are not making it true, that dialog will never appear. Now it will just rerun, and let's just click on add channel. You see this bottom sheet, some really cool. There are slightly some stuff that we definitely want to fix, but let's just add food name channel to it. Okay, and that's created. And now you can see the food channel just get on top of it. You can add one more channel name, and let's just say music, right? And then when I add music comes there as well. So this is the part where basically the channels gets listed, and now the next part would be to fetch the messages. So for that, what we will do is that we will create another package, and let's just name it chats, right? And inside this create a Kotlin class, name file, and make it chat screen. Pretty simple, right? Now the chat screen is there, and then we'll just create a composable, and composable should say function chat. And now I'll just create nav controller as usual. For this, again I will create another Kotlin class, and let's just name it chat ViewModel. Okay, and it will be a class, and then definitely it will, as this time I'll not forget, so inject constructor, and then I'll say it's a ViewModel, right? And I guess that's one thing. And now we'll add a health ViewModel as well. Okay, so this is done. The second thing, the second stuff that we want to do is that we want to create a state of messages. Now you don't have a message, okay? So we need to create one more model over here, and then just name it Kotlin class. It's going to be a data class, and it would be a message. Okay. Now what we need in the message is, like, there's just one more thing that I would like over here, is that sender name string, and then sender image. So this is pretty much, you know, what the message would look like. And now we'll just go over here and then just fetch it, right? One more thing that I want over here is that it will be going to be mutable state flow, not mutable state flow, and this is going to be a list of messages, so that I don't forget. And then I'll create an empty list to it, and this is going to be a private. Then we'll create a wall messages, that is going to be messages dot as state flow. That's one thing, right? Second thing is, as usual, you want to add a listener to your functionality. So I'll just create a function get, or maybe listen messages, right? And over here what we'll be doing is that we'll create a database wall db is equals to Firebase dot database dot database. I guess that's pretty much what we want. Okay, now what we need to do is that we want to say db dot get reference, and then it will go messages. So I'll say listen for messages, and now we'll send a channel ID, right? And this channel ID is important. This is the key that basically we will be passing. So what we will be doing is that we'll say messages dot child, and this child is going to be the channel ID that we pass. And then what we'll be doing is that order by child, and that is going to be created at, so that we get a proper order out of it. And then once that is done, the next thing would be to add value event listener. Okay, and now this value event listener is going to help us get all the messages from the server. So what we're basically doing is that we'll use the create at over here like this. Sorry, it's not create at, it's created at. So Okay, and now this is pretty much what we have, and once that is done, we'll add this value to the list, and that channel that will basically help us populate the messages in the list in the screen. Okay, so that is one thing. The second thing would be to add some messages to it. So we will use send message, and then this is again the same stuff that we've added with the child key with slightly difference, not pushing anything. So that messages dot child dot push dot set value, and that is going to be the message, right? There's just slightly some stuff that we would like to clear over here, and over here I will create a message wall message. I'll use it as message text, and then I will create a message, and this message is going to be, you know, something like this. So initially the ID, for the ID what we've been using is that db dot reference dot key dot reference dot push dot key, so that I can get the key, and if I don't get the key, what I'll be doing is that I'll get uuid dot random uuid to string, so that, you know, I get some sort of key can be a nullable one. So yeah, then we have this one, and then the next thing would be message. First thing is the key, second one is the sender ID. So the sender ID, okay, just one more thing that I would like, there should not be a receiver ID because it's already the sending, we are sending it to the channel. So yeah, let's just keep it this way, and the sender ID could be Firebase dot authentication dot user current user dot ID UID. Okay, second thing is I'll just use an empty because it will be always like that. And then we have this one, sender name could be also coming from this section, display name, and if it's not, we'll just use this. Sender ID should be null for now, and that's image user is also going to be null. Okay, so I just created this message, and then I'll just push it. So as soon as I push it, this will be populated, and based on that it will be working. Okay, I guess that's pretty much what we want for this view model. And now let's just get to this chat screen section and start implementing the chat. Okay, now what we need to do is that we have a channel ID coming to us, right? And as soon as we have this screen loaded, we'll use this, and then we'll go for view model, and let's just create a view model as well. Okay, now this, and then view model dot, let's call it listen for messages for this channel. Okay, so this will basically help us listen for the messages. And then the next thing would be again messages, right? Let's just extension function, load these extension function. And now what we need to do is that we need to create a section where basically everything will be displayed, right? So I'll just create a composable function, chat list, chat messages. Okay, and what we need to do is over here, what we will be doing is that we'll pass the messages and that is going to be a list of messages, not chat messages, right? And I guess we don't need the modifier for it. And one more thing would be on send message. What we will be doing is that we'll create a string like this. And just one more thing, I missed it over here. I guess that's pretty much for now, right? And now inside this section, this is going to be really interesting. So let's just create a box, modifier, fill max size, and then we have a lazy column as well, like as usual, modifier dot fill max size, modifier dot fill max size. So I guess I just loaded a wrong modifiers for this. I'll just import it the right way. Okay, now we have this, right? And this chat message is important because I just do one more thing and use this section, chat message, and this is basically going to be a chat bubble for me. Okay, now let's just create that and call it chat bubble, and then this is going to be a box. So what we need to do is that wall is current user. Okay, and basically what we'll be using is that if this equals to Firebase dot authentication dot current user dot UID, right? So if it's equals to this, this means that the user is the current ID. The next or the other stuff that we would like to do is that we will create a bubble color for it, and the bubble color is, again, if it's like one, we'll do the one stuff, second will be using the other one, right? So the bubble color is done again, and now inside this section we will be creating a row, right? Like this, and this row will have some modifiers. Let's just add these modifier dot fill max width first thing. The reason for that is that we want to have a complete fill section over here, and then add some padding for like vertical. We will be using 4 dp, and for horizontal we will be using 8 dp, right? Okay, so once the padding is done, what we need to do is horizontal arrangement should be arrangement dot space by, and that is going to be 8.dp, right? One more thing that we want is that we want a vertical alignment, and that is going to be bottom. Alignment dot, and that is going to be bottom. Okay, so this is the row that we created, and inside this row we will create if is current user, we will be using the alignments. Okay, so what we will be doing is that if it's like in a one section, we will use some sort of alignment, like if you want the sender, it will go to the right. If it's the receiver message, it will go to the left, right? So it's going to be alignment dot center end, or I would say center start, else center end, if I'm not wrong. Okay, and now we will be creating a box, and inside this box, first stuff is going to be content alignment, and that is going to be right, and that is going to be alignment. Okay, so I guess that's was a slight mistake from my end. We just added some sort of corner shapes to these as well, and then this is the text section. We'll be using this text. Okay, I guess that's one. And then this is not this, it should be like this. Okay, so if I look into this, what we did is that we added some alignment to the box so that it's like, if it's one thing it will go to the right, if not it will go to the left. Just one thing that I guess I mistakenly added over here is that, let's just remove this and add it over here and then add a comma to it. Okay, I guess that's something that should work in one section. And then this is done. Add one last thing that we want. Okay, so one more thing that we want to do over here is that we want to create a a section where basically we will be sending the message. Okay, so I have this thing, and now let's just add some alignment to it. Center bottom. So it's going to be bottom center, and then what else? Do we need any sort of padding to it? I guess yes. Let's just add a DP padding, and what else? And a background color as well. Background color should be light gray, right? So that's one thing that's done. Okay, and now inside this section what we need to do is we'll create a text field, right? And you know that for text section like this we need a is equals, or let's just call it a message. Remember mutable state of mutable state of an empty, and just use this dot value, and then this is going to be message dot value equals to 80, right? What else do we have for the text field? And then we'll be saying modifier dot weight is going to be 1f, so that it fills everything. What else do we need over here in this section? Definitely we'll have a label or a placeholder, so let's just create a placeholder for this and then type a message, which is fine. What else do we need? We need some keyboard options for it, and then the keyboard option is going to be, so the default section, when click on it, it should go to send, which is, do you want to send? Let's just make it done, so that it just close the keyboard, right? And now we be adding keyboard action, and let's say when it says on done, you can just hide the keyboard. Let's just do one more thing. Hide keyboard controller is equals to local software keyboard, right? And now once we do that, we'll just create that hide. That's one thing, right? And the second thing that we want over here is that we need to create an icon button, which is basically going to be an image vector, and sorry, not icon, it's going to be button. Okay, and icon button is on click. What we will be doing is that we will be going on send message, and that is going to be message dot value. Also we would like to reset this value to an empty message, which means that it's been sent. And now no, not here. In fact, it will be added over here now. And inside this section we'll be creating an icon, going to be an image, and what we will be using is that icons dot auto mirrored dot defilled dot send, and then the content description could be send, or maybe you can use null as well. So this is done, and I guess that's pretty much what we wanted. Now what we will be doing is that over here what we'll be doing this, and then this section is going to be like this. So pretty much what we wanted for this. So what we did is that we created this chat message screen, which is this, and then we passed the chat messages, and along with that we also passed the on send message section as well, so that once we receive, we send this message to the backend as well. Oh, I guess that's pretty much what we want over here. Now the second stuff, or like the main other stuff, would be to come over here and then define the route for this. That is going to be a crucial section over here, and I'm going to call it chat/channel ID, which is like this, and then let's just add some arguments, and then the argument is going to be list of, and going to be nav argument channel ID, and the type is going to be this. So I guess that's what we did, what we wanted. Now I guess that's done, and now we will be passing chat screen nav controller, and over here we'll be fetching the channel ID. So pretty much this. Now I guess the channel ID will come like this, and let's just go to the home screen. Okay, so let's just run it, and now I'll just fetch the other section as well over here. Now let's say when I click on chill next, it crashes. Okay, why it does crash? Let's just see if we have anything that we need to define. It says that channel/test cannot be found in the navigation graph. Okay, I guess I just added a wrong key to it, so that's why it was not passing, like receiving it as a argument. And now if I do it, this should work. Now let's just see. You can see over here we have this section just hidden behind, you know, the scaffold, so that's why it's not like looking good. But let's just fix this, and how we are going to fix this whole section is that we need to create a scaffold, and inside this we create a column, I would say column, and inside column we'll do modifier dot fill max size dot padding, and then padding is going to be 8, and then we just copy every stuff into this, inside this column. Right now if I run it, hopefully this time it will work properly, and this section will go a little bit up. And let's just open this food channel, and now you can see that it looks good. Right now let's just type hi, how are you, and then I send this message. You'll see it will go to the left section. I guess we want it on the right section, because you know the personal message should go into this section and the other messages should go there. But same time what we will be doing, I guess this is okay, so we used a different key. Let's just delete this message section. Now you can see that there is a section where basically it uses it like this, right? It creates a message. Okay, I guess I've made some stuff that I would like to update. So reference, the database reference, and then inside that we'll be looking for child. Then we will be looking for that ID, the child ID or the channel. Now let's just test it on two different emulators and see if the chats are actually, you can interact between two different applications. So I'll just run it on another emulator as well, and for the data cleaning purpose I'll just delete everything. No messages, nothing, everything should be clear. Okay, now if I go back and open this, there will be no channel, and let's just wait for the build to run on API 30 device as well. Now you can see this asks me for a username. So before creating that user account, I'll create a channel name, and that is going to be let's just use this. Okay, so now I add this channel and it added over here. Now let's just, I just need to sign up. So I'll use Furkan. Email is going to be password could be and now I'll just sign it up. This will hopefully take me here, and then you can see I have this channel. So I'll open both channels from this is open, and this is open as well. Okay, now let's just try sending message from one emulator to another. Hello, how are you? Right, just send it, and now you can see that I received this message. And now from here what we will be doing is that, hi, hope you are doing well. And now if I send it, it will be coming like this, which is not an ideal situation. What I want is that I want this content to be on the right section rather than on the left section, which looks really weird. So let's just fix this. If I make it a box, and then based on that I do these things, Let me just test something. And one more thing is that we'll just use a line and use alignment like this. Let's just remove this as well. Let's just rerun it so that we have this, Now you can see if I do this, this looks good now, because the hello, how are you message is going into the left. And one more thing that I want this over here is that it should be, reverse order. So my message should be on the right. But one interesting thing that you can see is that the other message is going on top, while my message, I guess this is fine. So I received the message from a different device, and now if I update it on this as well, you will see that we'll be able to chat between each other. So let's just chat. Right, okay, wait, let's talk about the chat app we are developing. Yeah, and then yes, sure, let's do it. And now you can see that you can basically chat between two different, and it's runtime and it's working. So I guess this is pretty much it for this video, because it's becoming a little bit lengthy in its own. But yes, I guess for part 2 this should be enough. And the next thing, or the next step that we would be doing in the third part, is that sending the images, plus we'll be working on the UI so that we can make it look a little bit more professional and more like the Figma design that we were following. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel, and if we can make it to the 1,000 subscribers, and I'm really thankful to those who have subscribed and joined my Discord channel. I would really appreciate for you guys as well. If you haven't joined the Discord server, please join the server, and over there we can basically communicate more easily in a way. If you have any issue with your with these tutorials, and if you face any problems, you can just ping me over there, and then I'll definitely help you, and your other friends who are in the channel can help you out as well. So this is the wrap of this video. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, have a great day and happy coding. Bye bye.